Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagat Guru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to the Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to the 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here, physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally, and I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. Lord Sri Krishna welcomes all of you here, brave warriors. I think you all are more brave than those that were with him at Kurukshetra. You agree, Jai? You all are more brave. You all braved the rain in Durban, South Africa. You all travelled a few kilometres in a light rain and came to Satsang. You all have to be more brave than all the warriors, Bhima, Duryodhana in Kurukshetra. That's how brave my Sri Narayan Dham devotees in good standing are. I think Kimlen has illegally tapped into the Guru's spiritual computer system, because I heard through the grapevine that he was only coming back to Satsang on what day, Siddhartha? Oh, somebody who said Sunday? Okay, all right. But I knew he was transacting with other things before Sunday. Siddhartha, is that true? We're moving around here and there. True or not true? True. But he couldn't come to Satsang. So on Sunday, yesterday, we had a problem in the media group, so there was no one to film. And I see he bravely and deviously came to Satsang before Sunday. And he saved himself a whole lot of trouble with the Guru. That's the name of the game, Siddhartha. There will never be an absolute relationship between you, this Guru, or any Guru in the world who is bona fide. There's always will be kicks and boots, hard ones, the ones that you as a safety officer recommend for your workers, the steel-tipped ones. Okay? That was just a reminder for my Siddhartha. He's alone now. His two friends are gone from behind the Goshala. So, in these discourses, we're making it personal, we're bringing it home. So, a little background of myself. When I was in the police force, Siddhartha, and if I arrested you, Siddhartha, I made sure you went to prison. Shri Siddhartha, when I was in the police force, and if I arrested you, I made sure you went to prison. And how that was possible, Shri Siddhartha. Sri Satish, when you go home, wife will still be there. Don't think of the wife. Think of Guru and God whilst you in Satsang. When you go home, wife will be there. Sri Satish is missing his dear wife. Okay?
No Guru, that's why I'm here.
Satish Bhai, I made a statement. I said, if I arrested you when I was a policeman, I made sure you went to prison. How is that possible? You are in the Justice Department.
All your information will be true, factually correct. You basically have to dot the I's and cross the T's so that you have a...
Yes. When I arrested you, I made sure I presented all the evidence meticulously. I presented all the evidence meticulously. I knew you were going to get an attorney, Satish Bhai. And even in my time, if you got the great Derek Van Dyne, if I arrested you, it has to be rock solid. And there was a time, like I did over 1,000 satsangs in this 8 years, in my 10 years in the police force, I arrested more than 1,000 people myself. I'm sitting outside the police force now. You can go back, Satish Bhai, and see if anyone has broken that record. I was only in the police force for 10 years. What does it tell you about the Guru? Sri Siddhartha. No, I take my work seriously. I take my work seriously. So when I was in the police force, I think at that point in time I was smoking 100 cigarettes a day. But if you ran, I caught you. Whether you ran up a hill or down a hill, I caught you. And for making me run, well, that was another story. But I caught you. No one has escaped cleanly when I pursued you. And you see, even here, Jai Bhai, when you turn against the Guru, I chase you. And I, Amita, catch you. Not you, Amita, but the people that have come and turned against the Guru and became criminals of this ashram. I make sure I catch you and I expose you. I cannot whack anymore. But when I was a policeman, and if you ran, then it was another story. So I had this passion for law. I had this passion for law, which I expressed practically upon my arrests. Upon my arrests, there came a time when attorneys saw me in court and they would ask the accused, "Did that policeman arrest you?" And when the accused said yes, then I would hear them saying, plead guilty and leniency, because I was rock solid. Okay? So I sent over 1,000 people to Westville in 10 years. If you break it down, Satish Bhai, 100 a year. Don't you think that was good Dana? Dana is a former policeman. Don't you think 100 people to Westville from the Warwick Triangle, not from Chatsworth and Phoenix, from the Warwick Triangle. Big people, if you heard names, you would vibrate in any part of Natal. These are the people I picked up, squeezed their ears, and threw them in jail for committing crimes. This affinity for law, after I left the police force, still continued. I made and I gave information on major crimes and criminal syndicates for many years after I was out of the police force. And then when Mataji and I tried a business venture that went awry, AWRY. I met Guruji at the same time, and I met a former policeman who was an advocate. And we decided to put my expertise of criminal investigation together in his law firm, and he made me a director in his law firm, and I did criminal investigation like how you see in the movies. We had our offices in Smith Street. When I first joined, we had a white female receptionist that used to play solitaire on the computer. And when I left, after surrendering full to Guruji, I could not see her face behind the piles of files of mine that was on the reception desk. This law firm became well known in Durban within a few seconds. We took on cases and we gave guarantee of a win, because in law you can do that. You can do that. God gave me a founding in law in the material world, so that one day I would be able to use the same concept when I'm sifting through the scriptures. And today I want to bring together scriptures and scriptural law and harmonize all the different scriptures evidenced by scriptural law, so that no one ever thinks that Sanatana Dharma is a myth, or that there is so much of scriptures that it is in contradiction. So this 10 years in the police force and so many years in the law firm and my entire life, Lord Sriman Narayan prepared me to give meticulous and pure discourses to the world. Because the scriptures are in disarray, aren't they? Any guru is taking any of the scriptures He's modifying it to his personal temperament and the people that he is appeasing in parts of the world to suit his temperament and the people's appeasement. So today, in the 6th day of the Sri Krishna Janmashtami, I'm going to bring together and marry all the scriptures as per Vedic injunctions. I don't know if this has been done before in the near past or in the far past. I have not found anything. But if we're doing it today, then it can serve as a platform for future Sri Vaishnavites to discourse on a solid foundation. And I said, Sri Satish Bhai, that whatever the Guru does, it must come from whom? From the Lord Himself. And we know that as recently as 5,000 years ago, the Lord joined the living entities and lived for 120 years. And in that time, besides living the entire Vedas, he also churned the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm using the Bhagavad Gita, and I stated that the Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all Vedic knowledge. Did I state that? I also stated that the Bhagavad Gita is the cream of the Upanishads. So now I have to prove it. How do I prove it? Satish Bhai once again, Shri Satish Bhai sir. With the Lord's own words. Okay? So I want to start off with chapter 10, verse 37. This is Lord Sri Krishna speaking, and he states, of Varnasis I am Vasudeva, full stop. Of Pandavas I am Arjuna, full stop. Of sages I am Vyasa, and of seers I am Usana. Of sages I am Vyasa. Who is Vyasa? Who is Vyasa? Jai Bhai. The Vedas have no author. Jai Bhai. He is the compiler of the Vedas, and Vyasa means compiler. Vyasa in Sanskrit means compiler. And Lord Sri Krishna is stating that he is Vyasa. He is Vyasa, the compiler of the Vedas. Then I'm going backwards, chapter 3, verse 20. Chapter 3, verse 20 of the Sri Gita Bhashya of Lord Sri Ramanuj. And in verse 20, Lord Krishna is stating, indeed by karma yoga alone did Janaka and others reach perfection. Full stop. Even recognizing its necessity for the guidance of the world, comma, you must perform action. So I'm giving you Vedic injunctions not in context, but I'm tying up the names in the Vedas. So by Lord Sri Krishna stating that King Janaka and others received perfection through karma yoga, and by him personally mentioning the name of King Janaka, what is he doing? Sita, who is King Janaka? Your father, Sita, the father of Sita, from the Ramayana, not from Reservoir Hills, from the Ramayana. King Janaka is the father of Mother Sita from the Ramayana. Okay? So Lord Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, which is a segment of the Mahabharata, he is tying up the Valmiki Ramayana with King Janaka when he was Lord Sri Ram of the Ramayana. Siddhartha, is anything making sense to you so far? Is your mind open to absorbing this information that I'm disseminating? Okay, that wasn't a very confident disciple yes. No, it was yes from the periphery. Someone just standing out of the circle. You know? Satish, it sounded like that? Sri Satish? Can you see what happens when you become a disciple? Which you are almost on the threshold. Okay, so let's bring it into its perspective. Okay, Lord Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita has endorsed that he is Vyasa, who is the compiler of all Vedic knowledge. All Vedic knowledge except the Ramayana has been compiled by Vedavyas, who Lord Sri Krishna is stating that is himself, or propelled by him, or impelled by him. The Vedas have been compiled by Krishna Dvaipema Vyasa. Alright? And then, whilst we are with the Bhagavad Gita, and you know what Vishwadhar is thinking Sri Vishwadhar is thinking at this precise moment? Anyone? Siddhartha? what you think Sri Vishwadhar is thinking at this precise moment. It is so easy. Why didn't I think of that? It is so easy. It's there in the Bhagavad Gita. He has this copy. It is so easy. Why didn't I think of that? That is what Sri Vishwadhar is thinking at the moment. Then again, I'm saying it is not within the framework of my discourse, but I'm linking the various books. Bhagavad Gita is one scripture. Ramayana is another scripture. Mahabharata is another scripture. I have now scripturally linked the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata to the Ramayana. Yes? I have done that? Okay. Chapter 13, verse 4. It has been sung by seers in various ways, in various distinctive hymns, and also in the well-reasoned and conclusive words of the Brahma Sutras. So what I have done now? I've linked the Bhagavad Gita to the Ramayana. I've linked the Ramayana to the Mahabharata, and now I've linked the Bhagavad Gita to the Brahma Sutras. Can you see? I said there are three authorities in Sanatana Dharma, which is the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras. All right? Then I've stated that the Bhagavad Gita is the summary of all the Upanishads. So the Bhagavad Gita, it in itself as a segment of the Mahabharata, connects itself to the 200 Upanishads. To the 200 Upanishads. So the Bhagavad Gita, summary of the Upanishads, has connected now so far itself to the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras. Are you happy so far that the Vedic scriptures are not in disarray? It is meticulously prepared. It is meticulously compiled by Lord Sri Krishna himself, impelling Krishna, Dvaipanya, Veda, Vyas. You can see? Okay. Then I want to go to the Upanishads itself. And this is the Chandogya Upanishad, part 7. And I'm just going to read, I'm not going to read this whole verse, I'm going to read that part which I believe is relevant to my topic on discussion today. And it is stated, O Narada, understanding assuredly is more than meditation. Full stop. Verily, by understanding, one understands the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, the Atharva Veda as the fourth, legend and ancient law, which is Itihasas and Purana, as the fifth Veda of the Vedas. So Chandogya Upanishad, part 7, ties up the four Vedas together with the Itihasa, means history, and the Mahabharata is history. Legends is the Puranas, and they use the word Purana as the fifth Veda. I want you to understand again, this is the Chandogya Upanishad, which is an authority on the Vedas. The Upanishad is one of the authorities, one of three authorities on the Vedas. Yes? And it is stating that understanding Dhana assuredly is more than meditation Dhana. Why I'm saying Dhana, understanding, and meditation Dhana? Because Dhana used to get up for I don't know how many years of his life at 4 in the morning and meditate. And he was still in the same position. Like a rowing boat with a huge hole, and you can see the shore on the other side, but you're rowing in same place. Dhana? Yes, because understanding is more than meditation. That is why those of you phone me and say, Acharyaji, what time must get up and meditate? I say, don't waste your time. Come to Satsang and understand and go home. Because you can close your eyes how many times you want, for how many hours you want, Premila. Nothing will happen. When you see the stars, everyone sees stars when they close their eyes. It's nothing special, Mama. Nothing special. When you close your eyes, you see some lights flying up and down. It's part of the light that is reflecting, that was inside on your eyeball, that is still dissipating this way, that way. All right? Don't think the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 100th eye has opened. Nothing has opened. 2 eyes is still closed. Right, Dana? So have you all seen now that the Upanishads has corroborated legally, as per scriptural injunctions, that the 4 Vedas, the Mahabharata and the Puranas are authority. Are authority. So I want to bring it even closer. I want to bring it even closer. How many of you heard of Vasistha Muni? Nadira, who is Vasistha Muni? The Guru of Lord Ram. His grandson is Sri Parashara, Parashara. How many of you heard of Parashara, Sri Parashara? I have not heard. Sri Parashara is the first speaker of the Vishnu Puran. Sri Parashara is the first speaker of the Vishnu Puran. His grandfather was the Guru of Lord Sri Ram in. When did Lord Sri Ram appear on this earth? Sita? in Treta Yuga? How many years in Treta Yuga? What is the time span in Treta Yuga? Sita, 1.2 million years. 1.2 million years in Treta Yuga. How many years in Dwapara Yuga? 800,000 years in Dwapara Yuga. We just started Kali Yuga. How many years in Kali Yuga? 432,000 years in Kali Yuga. 5,000 years is finished. How many more years, Nikhil, in this Kali Yuga for you to suffer, my boy? 427,000 years of more suffering, and you won't be running to my kutir every time you suffer in this 427,000 years. Nikhil, you thought your suffering was temporary? Had a limited time? Nikhil Bhai, if you do not do as the Guru say, not only Nikhil, all the Nikhils of the universe, there's 427,000 years only in this cycle. I'm not talking about coming back to the 311 trillion, 40 billion years. Nikhil Bhai, listening? So, Lord Sri Krishna appeared in Treta Yuga. Lord Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, which has a time span of Sita. Is the Guru right? I'm just checking. You found out? Guru is right. Hey, man. Guru is right. 1.2 million years. Dwapara Yuga, 800 years. 5,000 years gone by. So the Ramayana was spoken in the region of 2 million years ago. Ramayana was spoken 2 million years ago. Then this Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,320 about 5,150 years ago or 60 years ago. I'll give you exact figures on Krishna Janma Astami. Alright? Exact figures. So understand that Vasistha Muni, his great grandson, Sri Parashara, first spoke the Vishnu Puran somewhere in Treta Yuga. Somewhere in Treta Yuga. And the Vishnu Puran is the first Puran. Vishnu Puran is the first Puran, and it is recommended by Lord Sri Ramanuj as the purest Puran and a summary of the Vedas. Summary of Vedanta. Summary of Vedanta by Lord Sri Ramanuj. Okay. Then let's see where else we can find Sri Parashara. Sri Parashara is found in the Rig Veda, and the Rig Veda is the oldest spiritual scripture on this planet. The Rig Veda is the oldest spiritual scripture on this planet. That Sri Parashar or Parashara from the Ramayana period of Treta Yuga is also a speaker in the 10,200 verses of the Rig Veda. Can you see the link? And I'll give you the verses, Satish Bhai. When you go back, you can lie to Jessica that I gave you an assignment. You can go in your room, close your door, and just have a nap, but tell her you're researching for the Guru in the Rig Veda. All right? You see how important the Guru is in your life, Satish Bhai? When you first joined, you thought it was for the benefit of Jessica, but now you can see how the Guru has protected you from Jessica. All right? So Sri Parashara is the seer of verses 1.65 to 73, which are all in the praise of Agni Deva, and part of 9.97 verse 31 to 44, which is in praise of Soma. Okay? So even that is not important in line of the discourse that I'm giving you, but I have legally, in terms of spirituality, infused spiritual life in every scripture that is existent in Sanatana Dharma. So you see Vasistha Muni from Treta Yuga in the Itihasa. Itihasa is history. From the Itihasa I have infused, and his grandson is the speaker in the purest of the Puranas, the Vishnu Puran. And there is a spiritual DNA from Vasistha Muni through to his grandson, who is the original speaker of the Vishnu Puran. So can you see why, as Sri Vaishnavites, how much of importance we place on the Vishnu Puran? We take it as supplementary authority to the three main and primary authorities. We take the Vishnu Puran as supplementary authority together with the three main authorities. So how many of you heard of Vishwamitra? Hemita, you heard of Vishwamitra? Where we'll find him? Where? Ramayana. What was his function in the Ramayana? Nadira, I'm not allowed to swear in ashram. Oh, you're not swearing. I heard like vulgar swearing. Or maybe that mask, we should be out of mask. Okay. Who was Vishwamitra? He trained Lord Ram. All his austerities and penances of his entire life was so potent that he took this potency and he handed it over to the Lord. In every aspect, he took this potency of his accumulated austerities and penances and he handed it over to Lord Sri Ram. That was his only function in the world. And I said that the Lord can have any relationship he wants to have with you. And the Lord's relationship with Vishwamitra was that Vishwamitra must become so powerful, he almost created a parallel universe. That's the amount of power he had. He almost created a parallel universe. The Lord gave Vishwamitra his potency so that when he takes birth on this earth, he can retrieve that potency from Vishwamitra. Can you see that relationship? Like how Sri Krishna took 3 births from the same parents because it was the desire of the parents to have a son like Lord. You understand? So there is various relationships between the Lord and his devotees, and here Vishwamitra took his birth. He went through endless austerities and penances. He was a Kshatriya by birth. He wanted to be a Brahma Rishi, and he went through hell and back to be a Brahma Rishi. He attained that title in the end, and he was allowed to groom Lord Sri Ram spiritually whilst the Lord was on this planet Earth. What a great association between disciple and the Supreme Lord. Can you see Sri Siddhartha? Is the penny falling? Again the yes from the outside. I want the yes from the inside. Sri Siddhartha. So Vishwamitra also appears in the Rig Veda, the oldest and most ancient scripture that is found on this planet Earth ever. The Rig Veda, first and foremost. And he is given 3 mandalas in the Rig, or 3 sections in the Rig Veda, where he gives his Vedic injunctions. Can you see the relationship with the Lord? His full-time Guru Vasistha, the Lord allows his grandson to speak the Vishnu Puran. He allows Vishwamitra 3 mandalas in the Rig Veda, and he also allows Vishwamitra to compose the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is composed by Vishwamitra. And the Gayatri Mantra is one of the most important mantras in Sri Vaishnavism. Think I did enough, Siddhartha, in this discourse tonight to intertwine spiritually all the Vedic scriptures. Is there any Vedic scripture line outside of my discourse today? Kebai, can you think of any part of the Vedas that's lying outside my discourse today? Can you see all of the Vedic scriptures as one living entity, one spiritual, potent entity. Only distant or distanced by space and time. One living entity only distanced by space, time and category. Can you see it like that? And now do you believe the Guru when the Guru states that the Vedas is the eternal constitution for the material universes? Jai?
Yes.
You saying it from the inside or the outside? Where are you saying it from, Jai?
I'm still trying to get my head around all the facts.
Okay. Well, you're sitting next to someone that compiled these facts. Jai?
Yeah.
You're sitting next to someone that compiled these facts, and before this compilation reaches the world, if you're in good books, maybe it can reach you via WhatsApp.
I'll read it again to understand.
Okay, I think you have to read it quite a few times. Quite a few times. And whilst we are waiting for the Prasad to get ready, this is also Vishwadhar's week. Lord Sri Krishna week, Sri Vishwadhar week. Alright? So about 2 years ago, I told Vishwadhar that he should start learning how to form websites. So he did, knowing Vishwadhar, he'll pay the least and get the most out of it. So he downloaded a whole lot of free apps from the internet so that he could master how to become a website engineer. Okay? So whilst he was doing this, he asked me, Acharyaji, can I also make some money out of this? Well, knowing Vishwadhar, I said, yes, Vishwadhar, you can make some money out of this. So he went to one of the stalls and he made, well, I spoke about Vishwadhar during COVID, so you can understand how much of advertising he must have done for websites. But I remember he did get one customer and he did make some money out of that customer. There was a website that was to be made on the Sri Narayan Dham. Up to date, that website has not been formulated in completion. Okay, but the primary reason he was taught to make a website was the website for Sri Narayan Dham. The secondary reason was if he could make some money, he should make. He turned it upside down, he made some money first, and the reason he became a website designer, he has not concluded. And he is wondering why he is always alone. Eligible bachelor. Eligible bachelor. If Vishwadhar do not let go, I think women know how to sniff a stingy man. I think women know how to sniff a stingy man. That's all I can say. Vishwadhar is still an eligible bachelor. When he goes to radio, Amita, see if you can find all his radio presentations. He must have appeared live 4 or 5 times. And different announcers, they always describe Vishwadhar as a handsome young man. And still to be alone in this world proves the Vedas 100% correct. Because Mother Lakshmi is prosperity, yes or no? And who she is personified by? Who is Mother Lakshmi personified by? By the females. Can you see Mother Lakshmi associating with anyone that is stingy? Can prosperity and stinginess go hand in hand? And I said, our discourses are absolute science. And I hope Vishwadhar finds his reason for still being an eligible bachelor. Jai Sri Narayan Dham.